So let's move to our views. So here, let's close the controller. So here inside views, let's add success dash paid dot blade dot php. So inside, let's do something. Let's copy from the card. So let's copy. So let's copy only this part and paste it here. So we need a closing tag for the div and for the second, and also for the session we need and session, not session, but and section. So what else we need? So as I said, we need to close not here, but here and here and here and here. So here we need a message, so we can tell, so let's remove the icon. So you can tell the user that payment successful. So what else? So here let's make it each one, and here each one. So we have each one, and we give it, let's give it a class text. Let's give it text success, and let's add here text to the center. And let's add another p tag, and we can tell now the user that the payment has been successfully proceeded. So let's tell him your payment has been successfully proceeded. And let's add another. So we can add. Let's go to the cart. Can add the same button that we have here back to shop. Let's add it here. So save. Let's do something. Let's refresh the page, and now let's pay another, or let's add some products. But I think that I have missing title here. I just noticed that. Let's go to the home page. So I have missing not title but name. So here I have title. Okay, so sorry. So the product name, not title. So I just noticed that. So let's see now. Let's refresh the page. So now we have the name of the product. So I just noticed that. Okay, so we have fixed this problem. So let's add this product to our cart. Let's add another one. And let's move to our cart. So here let's proceed to payment. So here is the Stripe checkout form. So let's add here an email and also use test card number. Also we need a date and security code and a name, and we hit pay now. So now the payment is done successfully, and we are redirected. As you can see, payment successful. Your payment has been successfully proceeded, and we can back to shop. So let's do something. Let's go to our home page. So let's add to the cart again. Let's add another product. So let's move to our cart. So here we have our carts with total. So let's paste the same success pay URL that we had before with session ID. So let's hit enter. So as you can see, the payment successful. Your payment has been successfully proceeded. Let's go to the shop. So as you can see, now we have 0 products. So even though we did not move to the payment, or we did not pay our orders using the checkout or the Stripe checkout form. So here we have a problem. So we need to fix this problem. So we need to prevent the user from using the same session ID again, because here inside our order controller, we have already checked for the invalid request exception, but we did not check if the user use the same session ID. And to fix this problem, so we need to add another table inside our database. And inside this table, so we will store session or Stripe sessions ID. And we need to check if the session ID is already inside our database. So if it is already inside our database, so we need to redirect the user to the home page. Okay, so let's first create, so first we need to create the model. So let's add a new terminal here. So let's run command php artisan make a model, and let's call it session or Stripe session. Hit enter, but I forgot to create the migration. Let's create the migration. So hit enter, and we are done. So now we have the model and the migration. So let's move to our migration first. So it is the folder database, so migrations, and here create Stripe. So we have only one field, so let's make it string. And this field, let's call it Stripe ID, and let's make it unique. Unique. So save. So let's do something. So let's run our migration to add the new table to our database. So php artisan migrate, hit enter, and we are done. Okay, so we need to add. So let's move to the session or to the Stripe session model. So we need here to add field label array. And we have here only the session ID. Okay, so you have only one field. So let's add protected field label, and we have array, so we have the session ID. So now what we need to do, so we need to check also if generated session ID exists inside our database. Okay, so let's add here check if session or Stripe session ID already stored to prevent reuse. Okay, so we can't reuse it again. And here we can now use Stripe session model that we have created, and we need to call or to find the session or Stripe session ID, where the session ID, I think we have named, let's go to the Stripe session. So Stripe ID, not session ID. Okay, so let's change it to Stripe ID, and we need to check using the session ID, which is this one, if it exists. So if it exists, so we return redirects the user to the home or to the home page, and let's also display an error message. The session ID has already been used. Okay, and we need to import the model here. So let's import it. And what else we need to do? We need the once here. So here in case we have the session ID already stored. Okay, so here in case we don't have session ID or Stripe session ID already stored, so we need to store it. Okay, so here we get it and we store it. So store session ID to prevent reuse. Okay, so let's call Stripe session, which is the model, and called create method. We give it, so we have Stripe ID here, and we give it session ID. Okay, so now we have stored the session ID to prevent reuse. Okay, and here we clear the cart. So that's all. So let's try again and see. So now let's add another product to our cart and see if the code that we have added is working or not. So let's move to our cart and see what we have inside. So let's proceed to the payment. So let's provide email. So we need also the secret or the test card number. Here date and secret code, and we need also the name. So let's hit pay now. So now the payment is done successfully, and we have an error here, so not null. So here we are trying to send a null value for the Stripe ID. So I think let's go. So I think inside. So I think we have a problem here. So I think here we have a problem inside the model. So let's inside the model. So we need to use Stripe ID, not session ID. So sorry for this mistake. Let's do that again. So if we refresh the page. So as you can see now the payment is done successfully. If we try or the user tries to use the same thing, let's do something. Let's copy from here and go now to our home page. So let's add another product to our cart, for example this one. So now we have products inside our cart. Let's move to the cart. So if we try to use the same thing, same session ID, and we hit enter, so as you can see, this session ID has already been used, and we still have products inside our cart. Okay, so now we have fixed this problem using this code here. When we check if the Stripe session ID is already stored inside our database. Okay. So that's all for this project. So I hope you did enjoy it. So if yes, hit subscribe and like, and see you in my next project.